Hi there. Hi everyone, my name's Ollie. I'm from the charity Vegetarian for Life, or V for Life we call ourselves these days. Today I'm going to make have a simple sushi session with you. It's vegan sushi, so it might be something you've not seen before. Very much the same principle, just without raw fish or egg or anything. Basically sushi is the seasoned rice that it's named after. So yeah, we'll get started. A little bit about the charity if you've not tuned in before. We are the only charity that supports older vegetarians and vegans, or anyone over the age of 50. And we, through various ways, through cooking and advice and finance and support. So go on our website and have a look. It's vegetarianforlife.org.uk or vforlife.org.uk as well. So let's get started. I've got some sushi rice. It takes a while to cook. You have to soak it. I'm using this brown sushi rice today, but there's loads out there. The white sushi rice will take a lot less to soak and cook, but always just look at the packet. So this one, I just washed it through a fine sieve and then soaked it for an hour, but you can soak it up to overnight as well. It is pretty good. Or just a few hours, and then it's cooked for about 40 minutes. Bring it to the boil and then reduce it, and all that water will get absorbed, and you'll be left with a nice sticky rice. And what you want to do, let that cool. So this has been cooling for a few hours in my pan, and then the next thing I'm going to do is make a seasoning for it. So I'm going to use some soy sauce for this. So a couple of teaspoons of soy sauce in there. And then some rice wine vinegar, about half the amount of rice wine vinegar. So I used 190 grams of the rice, and I used about 600 millilitres of water that it soaked in and then got cooked in. So, but all these recipes are on our website as well, so have a look. And then the next thing I'm going to put in is a knob of ginger. So I'm just going to peel the ginger a little bit. One of the easiest ways to do this is with a teaspoon. So this is a nice little technique because it gets into all those crevices and all the kind of knobs and things you get on ginger. So a teaspoon is really good, much better than a potato peeler. So just give that a quick peel, and then using a grater into the rice. So this is quite a healthy sushi. You'll find a lot of sushi in the shops. It's got lots of E numbers and additives, and it's always got loads of sugar as well. So this one, I'm just going to add a tiny bit of maple syrup for sweetness, but it's not even essential really. But if you're used to that kind of very sweet sushi taste, then a little bit of sweetness is good. That's the thing. Sushi should be such a healthy thing, but a lot of the time, a lot of shop bought sushi is not very good for you really. All the white rice and the sugar and the E numbers and everything else. So just give that a good mix. The rice is super sticky, which is obviously what we need. And just get that all mixed in. So put that to the side. And then we can prepare some vegetables. So I'm going to make an avocado lime center for the sushi. And I'm using half an avocado. And half a lime for this. So into a bowl. And then squeeze the lime juice in. This just gives it a lovely, fresh, zingy flavour. And there's lots of good fats in that avocado as well. And then a good sprinkling. I've got these toasted sesame seeds, pre-toasted. But if yours aren't, you can just put them in a dry frying pan and just toast them for a minute or so. And then I'm just going to mash this up. So we've got a nice consistency. And that's going to run down the centre of our sushi. Should do it. And then I'm going to put some vegetables into my sushi. So I've got some carrot, some cucumber, and some spring onion. What I'm going to do, just give the carrot a quick peel. These are all washed, pre-washed. And then we're going to julienne the vegetables. So cut it in half again, and then take off the side. We always want to work on a flat surface, and then we can create nice strips, which when we turn them flat, we can then cut them into little julienne pieces, little sticks, very thin little sticks. And we'll do the same with the cucumber and the spring onion as well. So I'm going for about the same length, roughly about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 centimeters. We'll do the same with the onion. You could also use something if your chopping skills aren't that great or you're not very confident. You could also use perhaps one of these serrated tools. It's a bit like a peeler, and you'll get a similar effect through that. So there we've got some spring onion, and then cucumber as well. So don't really want the seeds in the middle. We'll just kind of cut around that. Exactly the same technique. Just make little sticks, let's say. Okay, so keep your board organized. Get your cucumber, your carrot, and your onion. Get them all set up separately, because then we're going to start with the sushi rolling. So you don't really need any special equipment for this, but one thing you will need is a sushi rolling mat. You can find these usually in supermarkets, where you'll find all the kind of Japanese products, Chinese products, or in a specialist shop or online obviously as well. And it's just a little kind of bamboo mat with some string, very simple. And we'll lay that down flat. And then I've got these nori sheets. And it's just very fine pressed nori seaweed. They're very delicate, so be careful here. And you'll see one side, they both look very similar, both sides, but one side is slightly rougher than the other. So we're going to use that the rough side facing up, because that's going to be on the inside of our sushi. And then get our rice, just use a spoon, and we'll just have a nice even coating. We want to leave about a few centimetres at the end and a little bit at this end as well, but a large space at the end. You'll see why in a minute. So we get a nice even spread of the rice, and don't overfill it, because when we start pressing it, it will spread out even more. So we'll see how that goes. And then you can carry on using a spoon, or if you want, get a little bowl of water and keep your fingers wet, and you can just work this sushi with your hands. Work the rice with your hands, sorry. It's very malleable. It will move really easily and stick together. So we just want to create a nice sort of flat, even layer. And we can add a bit more if we see any gaps or anything. Like I say, keep your hands moist, because it's very sticky and it's easy to sort of pull up the sushi nori and rip it, and yeah, so keep your fingers wet, or you could use some rubber gloves if you want. Okay, so pretty much there. So you can see it's kind of nice and even. It's only about 1 or 2 rice grains thick. And now we can start with our filling. I forgot to mention, I also have some mushrooms here that I've just marinated for about 10-15 minutes in a bit of soy sauce and sesame oil, lovely fragrant toasted sesame oil. These are shiitake mushrooms, but you can use any mushrooms as well. So they're going to go in my filling as well and add a lovely flavour to it. So I'm going to start with the avocado, right down the centre. And then from that, I'm going to add some carrot. So a line of carrot up the one side, and then down the other, perhaps a bit of spring onion. Don't try and overpack it. It's very easy to do, so just try and keep it simple and minimal. And then I'm adding a bit of the mushroom as well. Yeah, I think that's it. So you could also add in some tofu in there, or some thin omelette, which you could roll if you're making a veggie sushi. And there we go. So we're all ready to go. Again, keep your hands wet, just in case. And we just start to roll. So we bring in this end and we just roll it and over the top of our filling, and then try and keep it nice and tight. And bring up the front of the mat, and we just continue to roll, keeping it all quite nice and firm. And then when we get towards the end, we want to wet it slightly. And then just continue to roll over the top. Give that a nice little squeeze. And then should be left with a nice, long, even-ish roll of sushi. So make sure it's all stuck together. And then nice sharp knife. And don't try and use a serrated knife or anything. Use a nice sharp chef's knife like this. But don't cut through it like you would vegetables or most things. You want to sort of saw through it. So you can either create classic little rings of sushi, like so. So you can see I'm sort of sawing through that. Or you could go for something a bit different. Perhaps turn up your knife on its side, like turn the sushi roll on its side, and then go in at an angle. And create something a bit more like that. You might have seen that sort of style before. So yeah, just play around. And see what you come up with. I'll go through that again. I'm also going to make a dipping sauce as well. So again, the rough side up. And then nice even coating of the rice. It smells incredible. You got that lovely fresh ginger and the soy and the rice vinegar as well, and a slight sweetness from the maple syrup as well. And then of course I've got my toasted sesame coming from my mushrooms. There we go. So, see how that is. Remember to wet your fingers again. And then spread out the rice. There we go, like so. So this time I might try some cucumber. A bit more of the avocado. And then a few more mushrooms this time, I think. But again, don't be tempted to overfill it, because it'll be really hard to roll. There we go. So I think I'll leave that one like that. Just move these out of the way so you can see. So then bring over the mat, tuck in the filling in the middle, and then give it a nice firm press. Carry on rolling, so bring up the mat slightly, and then keep rolling. Keep it nice and firm and even, and then wet the end so that it sticks. And then just keep going over like so, give it a good squeeze. And then we've got a nice even roll. So again, remember we're sawing into it rather than chopping into it. And you can just play around different shapes And you'll see, so you've got all your filling in the middle and all the rice around the side, and it's nice and even and tight as well. So I'm going to make a quick dipping sauce. Tablespoon of soy sauce again. A little dash or teaspoon of sesame oil. And then a little more grated ginger. Not too much. And there we go. Give it a little mix. And then let's have a little try. That's delicious, fresh, zingy, lovely. Could also have some wasabi as well. Some somewhere. Yeah, don't know where my wasabi is, but it comes in a powder, and you just mix it with a bit of water, and until you get like a nice firm blob of wasabi. So hope you've enjoyed this session. If there's any questions, I'll have a little look. So no questions. If anyone wants to send a question, you can get in touch with us at vegetarianforlife.org.uk. So yeah, thanks very much for joining, and happy sushi making.